Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait for another 2 minutes and then we'll start. Let's give the others 2 minutes to join. Very good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. I think a thumbs up would do.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Thanks, Junaid. So yes, a very good afternoon to everyone. I hope you're all excited for the workout today. I mean, we're really excited. My name is Kabir, and I'll be just quickly introducing QAI and QGLUE. So okay. Perfect. So just to very quickly let you know about us and what we do, QAI was founded in the US over 30 years ago. And since then, we've had more than 700 customer journeys and clients in more than 30 countries. While the focus of QAI has been on process improvement and quality management, its sub-brand QGLUE, largely focuses on design-led innovation. Now, QGLUE brings impact through empowering an innovation-driven workforce. We enable enterprise-wide innovation, and deliver innovative outcomes. So in the last couple of years, we've been working with different organizations that come from different industries, and we help them, reach solutions which are innovative in nature. And we use, processes like design thinking, which is again one of the processes that we use for organizations to reach their goals. Now, your coach for the afternoon today will be Mr. Arcchit Goel. Now, Arcchit is a product specialist and he works with Google India. He's from Stanford Graduate School of Business, and he's a design thinking practitioner and expert. He has had more than 11 years of experience in designing strategies that make products successful. And he also actively coaches early growth startups to, build user first solutions. Now I'll be handing over the mic to Arcchit, and I think it will be best if he takes over from here. But before that, there will be a special announcement towards the end of the session. So I would request all of you to please stay back for it. Yeah, perfect. Over to Arcchit now.
Thanks, Kabir. I'll quickly start presenting the screen. Just give me a minute. Can all of you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So thanks for the introduction, Kabir. I think before we start, let's do a quick warm up. So if all of you can just quickly close your eyes and imagine that you're standing in a big open field beneath the blue sky. And in 3 seconds from now, you're going to blast off to the moon. So just quickly close your eyes and we'll just blast off. So 1, 2, 3, and go have a round at the moon.
Arcchit, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so great. So what we'll do is, that was a little exercise on the imagination play. Let me ask you a few questions. Feel free to just unmute yourself or use the chat group to answer. But how many of you wore a spacesuit when you were moving around the moon? Anybody was wearing a spacesuit? Nobody? Okay. Did you have your hands out like a Superman or a Superwoman while you were moving around? No, nobody.
Yes.
Or did you land on the moon? Some of you did, right? But did you land on the moon by any chance? You wore a spacesuit. Great, Ravi.
I didn't land.
Okay, you landed. Okay, great. So when we try doing this exercise with kindergartners, we are always amazed by their vivid imaginations. Many land on the moon, some go to the Mars randomly, or some even end up building space stations because they're not constrained. But as we get older, we are so good at converging, making decisions, coming up with an answer, exercising judgment that we have more difficult time in diverging, coming up with the diversity of ideas, having open discussions, and even suspending judgments. This is a pretty simple task. You flew around the moon, you may have landed, and then you came back to Earth. But if you did this warm up the second time, what you would realize that it's about the use of power of imagination and likely have more fun the next time. So we're so good at converging because we have to make decisions every day, sometimes multiple times in a day. But how can we stay in that imagination a little bit longer today? Just stay with that inquiry for the next 2 hours. Let me allow me to introduce myself a little bit. As Kabir mentioned, my name is Arcchit, and I welcome you to your workshop. In my personal life, I've grown up in a joint family in Roorkee, which is in Uttarakhand. My father is a businessman and my mother is a homemaker. I have a twin brother, Arcchit, who's a professor in Thapar University in Punjab. Professionally, I work with Google India as a product specialist, where I consult some of the largest Indian businesses on solution strategies to grow their business with Google search ads. I'm a mathematics graduate from Hansraj College, which is in University of Delhi, and I'm a design thinker from Stanford Graduate School of Business. Along with that, I'm also a visiting faculty with educational institutes and businesses where I train entrepreneurs on design thinking. And I also coach some fast growing business startups on translating deep user app emotions into simple actions that causes breakthrough results. And who I am as a person for people in my life is someone who really listens for and reliably delivers that which makes a real difference in what they care about. So thank you for being here today. I know there are a lot of choices that you could have made. It's a Friday afternoon. There could have been important meetings lined up. And you could have wanted to finish off work so you can spend your weekend with your families and friends. but you chose to spend the next 2 hours with us learning about user journeys. And that speaks volumes about your commitment for your business and your users. And I really appreciate that you chose to come here today. I'm excited to spend the next 2 hours with you. But before we move forward, would you like to share something about what you know about design thinking or what you know about user journeys or anything that got you here? Anybody can unmute and just share. So folks, I think we will keep this session very interactive. The idea is not to have a monologue or to give you an information. The idea is to understand your businesses better, understand what can help you improve your user journeys. So let's keep it interesting. So anybody who wants to share about what they know about user journeys already, or why are you here today?
Hey Arcchit, it's Nachiket Rane here.
Nachiket,
Good afternoon to you.
good afternoon.
I just the main idea behind coming to this workshop was to also understand how do we get those users to come back to your platform
Got it.
time and again. So my goal to join this workshop was to understand how do we get that uh, perfect secret ingredient that will get your users to download your app, but also get them repeatable and get those repeatable and scalability from the user's perspective. So that is one of the reasons why I've come here as well.
Got it, Nachiket. Thanks for sharing. So I got that you want your customers to retain and come back to your app, and that's what you're here to figure out, right?
Right.
Hey,
So
Archit,
we
this is
might.
Ravi here.
Hi, Ravi. Just 1 second, Ravi.
Hey.
So Nachiket, we might not answer that completely, but what that little session will help you do is using your user journey to get some more clarity on what can get your people to come back. That's
Definitely. I
from
think
me.
that will help me a lot. Yes. Thank you.
Super, super. Yes, please.
Yeah, see, I've been in the B2B world for longer time and don't have much exposure to the B2C world. But at
Got
the
it.
same time, most of the solutions that we hear are coming from your consumer life into the business life.
Got it.
So how, if I were to design a B2C product, hypothetically,
Yeah.
how do I go about designing it from the need till the point of delight for the customer? What are the
Yeah.
things to keep in mind? That is important because I think that learning, I'm sure I will be able to replicate in the B2B world.
Sounds great, Ravi. I think this is a great starting point to get some of that clarity. And I hear that you want to expand into a solution which is more B2C, and getting clarity on what's the need of that particular user segment is something that you're here for. So welcome to your session.
Hi,
Thank
Archit.
you.
Hi, Abhinav.
So, I am I'm Abhinav. I am working similar to Rohit. I'm also working into a B2B space,
Got it.
and in our product there are a lot of integrated products which have their own journey.
Yeah.
And as I'm into product management, I understand that user journey in that terms is related to uh, uh, allow user to do some action following through steps.
Mm-hmm.
But as Ravi mentioned that there is a bit difference in B2C. There are a lot
Yeah.
of things which goes into B2C.
Yeah.
But what I am here to learn is that how can we use that B2C essence in the B2B space as well, and give that similar kind of feeling that the person or the B2B person who is using that application for his need is not
Yeah.
doing just for the need of it. He is also enjoying that piece.
Sure, Abhinav. I hear you. I hear that you have a product that's working well for B2B. Now you want to see how that product can work for B2C, right? And I get that. So thanks for sharing, everyone. So I'll tell you a little bit about how this session will go. So today you will get a brief sense about what design thinking is. And then I'll specifically cover one specific tool or aspect of design thinking, which is user journeys, where we'll go deeper. The idea is not to give you a lot of information today. That is available online in multiple forms and shapes. Today is a workout. So the intention is to kickstart your user journey, to have a deeper understanding in your users. And if you leave the room today having discovered even one new insight about that particular user segment, My job is done. So let's begin with looking at what design thinking is not. Okay, so how many of you think you're creative? Just quick show of hands. Okay, fairly good. So let's do one very quick, you're not, got it. Let's do a fairly quick activity, okay? Just take a quick paper and a pen and draw a baby. Quick 1 second, let's draw a baby. Okay, now draw a scenery. Okay, another interesting one. Now draw innovation. Done. Okay, so how many of you, when drew a baby, you put up like a little curly on coming out of the baby's head? Did anybody do that? Okay, and while you were drawing innovation, how many of you drew a bulb? Yeah. So the reason why we did this little drawing, yeah, I get that. So the reason why we did this little activity to draw is because no matter whether you think you can draw or not, this is the highest level of fidelity that you need to be able to sketch out your ideas. Because it's not about how great the drawing is. It's about how you communicate it to someone else. The reason why I wanted to do that exercise was because usually if you ask that question of if you feel creative or not in the room full of adults, only about half of the adults will raise their hands. And the reason why a lot of adults don't feel creative is because when you are 8, 9, or 10 years old, somebody told you that you couldn't draw right, or some other artistic thing that you opted out of because when you were a kid, you didn't feel like you were any good at it. And that's what we tend to equate creative ability with artistic ability. But that's not what we think about creative ability in design thinking. So yes, artistic ability is important, but what we are really talking about is the ability to show unfinished work and the ability to participate in something that you might not even be good at. And that's what we think about when we talk about creative confidence, the ability to take the problem that don't have clear answers today. And that sort of framework and posture is really important to coming up with innovative ideas, because innovative ideas by their nature are things that are not yet defined. So your willingness to take on new things, whether you can draw or not, is much more important than your ability to draw. So know that whichever way you are, creative or not creative, it works. Right? So, okay, let's do another quick activity to get you understand design thinking. Can you design an ideal suitcase for you? And take 2 minutes to do that. If you were to design an ideal suitcase, what would you do? Okay, stop. So for how many of you, when someone asks you to solve a problem, you are like, okay, I'm going to find a solution, and you just directly jump to solutioning. Just quickly, if anybody wants to share, how did you approach when I asked you to design a suitcase? One sharing. Okay, square box with a handle. Great, Jitesh. The photos of blue one. Okay, that's how you drew it. Kabir, I can somehow see people can only send me direct messages, but not on the group chat. Can we fix that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, okay, great. So the idea is, okay, you square with 4 tires. That's what you drew. Great. That's what we're talking about. Even before knowing who are we designing a suitcase for, we start solutioning. Now, traditionally, the ideation began with a problem. Sometimes this problem was backed by data. In other cases, the problem was simply a hunch. Team would then research solutions or draft one that's functional and meets the business requirements. Near the end of the process, the designers would be called in to essentially create a wrapper and to fit the idea to a user. Abhinav, that briefly is what you spoke about, how you want to use a B2B solution to understand how can you make it work for a B2C customer. But in design thinking, we flip the process around. We may start with an idea of problems we want to probe for, but we actually start with users. We let the users tell us the problem through verbal and non-verbal communication and use their ideas to help us create a solution. So you start working right out at the gate and build the solution around the user rather than molding the user to your solution. So let's quickly summarize design thinking if we were to summarize it. So imagine that you are a middle-aged man or a woman and you're driving your car and your partner is sitting right next to you and it's raining really, really heavy and you can barely see through the glass in front of you and you have a 1-year-old child who's crying out loud sitting right next to you. And it has already taken you 2.5 hours to reach a journey which was ideally 1 hour because of the rains, and that too without having taken a break, and you are exhausted now. And then you see this parking place where you see this board. How would you feel? Anybody wants to share quickly on the chat group, or just quickly unmute yourself and share?
Maybe very frustrated.
Very frustrated, yes. Yeah. Anybody else? Put garland on the signboard, okay. Yeah, I mean, you'll be frustrated, annoyed, all of that, right? And now look at this. How about this one? Right? So in design thinking, you really step into your user's shoes and try and build a solution that works for them. Now, if I were to really define design thinking, it can be a bit elusive. There is no firm definition, nor are there any set steps you need to follow to use design thinking. However, Tim Brown, who is widely regarded as the leader in this space, sums it up quite nicely, according to me. He says design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation, where we put people, that's your user, at the forefront of the solution process. But let's start with discussing the most important topic of design thinking, and also what you will need the most important part for, which is for your user journey as well, which is, any guesses? What's that one most important thing about understanding your users, building a user journey, and then implementing design thinking as a way? Who's your user? Okay. So the clarity on who's your user. It's empathy. Yeah, very good, Vibhav. So empathy is, so before I actually just define empathy, you can say it. So empathy is when you can feel what other person is feeling, when you can mirror their expression, their opinions, and their hopes, like literally putting yourself in the shoes. Look at this image, the child and the dog, you don't know who's copying who, but the expressions are the same, the postures are the same, they can really get the same hopes and emotions. That's what's the most important part, is that you need to bring in to build really strong and powerful user journeys, which can then lead you to an innovation. Okay, now let's look at a quick video to understand this better. This video talks about empathy, and without talking much about this, just give me a minute to quickly present it. Okay, so how was that? Anyone has anything to say? Something that you could relate to from your personal or professional life? Something that you got reminded of? Let's just hear a few of you share.
Can I say?
Yes, please, Ravi.
So about few years back, when I was buying a car, I
Yeah.
had gone to like Honda and Nissan based on what cars my friends had, and they were either very crowded or nobody was very interested. And I went back to car which I've driven before, Toyota, and it was a weekend. That
Yeah.
lady was a salesperson said that no, I mean it's going to take some time, for the delivery, 30 days. And I said that was the same problem with Honda and Nissan.
Yeah.
And she said, "What are you really looking for?" And I said, "I'm looking for some features." I said, and then she said that there is a lower version of the model available, but we can add these additional features. It will not have digital display, but these other features that you were looking for, we can add it, like a rare camera, and you can see it today in workshop because it is not in the store, but we will have to go about 3 kilometers inside. So she showed it to me, and she took that pains to really understand that I was actually feeling that again I have to come 30 days later to check whether it's available. And she showed it to me, and then we made a deal. And she got the purchase done, and I lowered my expectation with a little bit more add-ons to the lower model.
Yeah. I really got that she tried to at least be available to listen to what you're looking for.
No, she understood what I felt, that I'm
Yeah.
frustrated that I have not been able to get a car in a day. Right?
Yeah.
I always have to wait, and she knew that I'm not liking it.
Thanks for sharing that, Ravi. Definitely validates exactly what we were speaking about. And I see, Junaid, yes, absolutely touching video. And Ashish, do we understand the situation? Maybe not, but can we be willing to understand it? I think that's where the place to start from is. Okay, so I think let's look at one second this video. Yeah, so let's look at the three characteristics of empathy. The first one is being curious. I think Ashish, that's what it takes to really trying understanding what the other person's situation is, which is being genuinely interested in what they really care about and what really matters to them. Then listen. Can you repeat what they said exactly the way they said it, how they feel it, and what's their commitment behind what they're saying? And defer your judgment. Listen to what they are saying, not what you think they mean. And just beginning to follow these three steps can at least bring you closer to being empathetic to that person and help you understand what they really care about. And with that, I think let's get our user journey started. The next few minutes are not going to be again a monologue, as I said. It will going to be a working session. So bring out your paper, pen, whatever that you might need. But imagine that you are an online food delivery app who is operational in a metro city, delivering from top restaurants around, and you want to provide the best customer experience amongst your competitors. That's who you as a brand stand for. And then meet Rahul, who's a 25-year-old man from a middle economic background, and he works with a technology corporate company and lives alone in a city. He's passionate about fitness and is a big time foodie, and he's hungry now. Now, as I take you through a user journey going after this, work along with me on your business. Write down your business statement and then pick up one key primary persona of your user. So let's just take 2 minutes quickly. Take a paper and a pen if you're okay with an Excel sheet or a Word doc, whichever one that you're okay, comfortable with. Spend the next 2 minutes, write down your business statement. Who are you? What do you stand for as a business? And then who will be your primary user segment, and try and go into more detail about geography, age, what do they like. So quickly, let's just define that. I will take a pause for 2 minutes, and if you can work along with me, that will be helpful. And whoever is done, please start sharing. Tell me,
Uh,
what is your
uh,
business about and who is your primary customer? Ravi, yes.
Archit, this question before.
Yes.
Rahul is your customer? Is that what you're saying? I missed that part.
That's my customer for an app business that I am going to work with
Okay.
you through the journey. Parallelly,
Okay.
if you can work on your business, so write down your problem business statement. Who are you and what do you stand for? And who is your primary customer? Just define one person. So take one person example and try and use it in that one person statement. So Arcchit, who is X years old, lives in my city, interested in ABC. For example, when you defined yourself, you said, okay, Ravi, who's a X-year-old working professional, is looking for a car at the earliest, which has most advanced features, something like that. The more specific you get about that user segment, the better it will be for you to work with me. Anybody wants to share?
Yeah, hi, I am Giriraj here, Archit.
Hi, Giriraj.
I wrote for myself.
Okay.
I have a ERP for school, colleges, and universities.
Okay.
So my business statement is then I have the best user-friendly ERP system for school, college, universities.
Got it.
My user customer base are school, college, university owners. And
so try and
they
define
are
that a
actually
little bit more. So for your customer, so say, I'm just calling out a name, Jaipuria University, which is a deemed university in Delhi, caters and provides engineering courses. That's what your primary customer is, right? Or in fact, your customer actually would not be a university. Your customer, for example, would be the principal. So you say X was the principal at a deemed university in city, which provides courses ABC. That's what your primary customer is, right? So try and expand on who your real customer is, Giriraj. Did you get what I'm trying to say?
yes.
Okay, great. Anybody else who wants to share?
Hi, Archit. Can I share?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I logged in with Jitesh's name, but my name is Balwinder.
Hi, Balwinder.
And hi. So my customer is
Firstly,
Sip.
what's your business?
Business is we have an app for motorcycle riders who like to ride and explore different places, and they go for all over India rides, and they go for out of India also. I mean,
try and
on
define
world
it
level.
Balwinder.
Yeah. So my customer is a bike rider. He is a middle class and high class background also. Lives alone or family, mostly are with family, and they are passionate about bikes and gears, and they are avid travelers. They love to travel even in the snowy roads. They love to explore Leh, Ladakh kind of places. So that's basically who is.
What you said is that typically your business customer, primary business customer, is a middle-aged youngster who is passionate about bikes and traveling, and comes from, and just add a layer of economic background maybe that will help you to understand what's the price range that you offer in. I still didn't get clarity, Balwinder, on the business statement, so just refine it a little bit and put it in one sentence. What do you provide and what do you stand for? I provide X and I want to have this experience to the customer. Just try and define it that way.
Okay.
Yeah,
So this will take time, more than 2 minutes.
It's okay. Take another minute. It's fine. You'll be able
Okay.
to. Anybody else last sharing, and then we move to the next part of the session. Any other sharing? Anybody? See, this will set. Yes, Neha.
Neha here.
Yes.
So, see, I don't have any business, but what I'm looking here is I'm working in a B2B space, but we have direct clients as well.
Yeah.
So, I want to work for a bank, okay, where I want to create a bank's customer journey, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So, maybe I am a XYZ bank, and I provide different services, for example, loan,
Turn it
insurance.
around. Turn it around. So say you are the customer. So you can
Yeah.
design a journey for yourself for going to a bank and doing an
Okay.
activity,
Okay.
right? So say Sneha, who is ABC, is looking for that X from the bank. That's your statement.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll help you refine it better in the journey forward.
Sure. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so we'll take another minute, start closing this, but this section is the most important bit because it will set the tone of your work that you're going to do in the coming part of the section. Okay, Ashish, that's great. Now, have a similar sharp narrative about who is your primary customer as well.
Anything on the statement that I can improve upon, if you can give me your feedback here?
If you can tell me the customer, your primary customer segment, Ashish, I'm happy to give feedback on that.
Yeah, so our primary customers are pharma companies, and we sell tracking solutions for them so that they will be able to monitor the efficiency of the sales force and do better business using the data which
Ashish, I heard
is
you. I
being
think,
inserted.
yeah, no, I think I heard you. I would love if you can get a little more specific. Who at the pharma company will be your primary customer? Who would you want to go and speak with? Is that the HR? Is that the CEO? And then define that person. So instead of
Okay.
the company, define the user.
Okay. Okay. The marketing person with a
Let's say
age group
CMO.
of 35-40.
Yeah. So define that CMO or the marketing person that you're gonna go and speak with. So it's about a user. So you have to identify that particular user that you're gonna speak with. Okay, let's move to the next part of the workshop, which is let's look at the possible actions that Rahul would take for the act. And for this activity, I've simplified this flow that you're going to see now, but know that there can be many more details to this. So, for example, Rahul feels hungry. What all can he do? He can cook, he can go out to eat at a restaurant, or he can order at home. Then if since my business is a food delivery business, let's go deeper into ordering at home journey. So he checks all the food apps in his phone and browses through them. Then he decides what to eat and where to eat from. He decides the app he wants to order from on the basis of the discounts that these different apps are offering. Then he places the order, waits for the food, receives it, and then eats it. That's the typical journey that Rahul would take, who's my primary customer, till the time he eats and he gets what he was looking for, right? But if you were to tell me possible action that I could expand more on, what do you think I can? Anybody you can unmute and share. I'll give you an example. Say the last step when he receives the food could either be spilled or stale, or the food could be great. And his experience on both the parts could vary, right? So I would rather branch out these two again from receiving the food and then map it to eat. Any other idea what could be missing here?
Occasion for which he is ordering, meaning is it for himself or is it for his family or a party?
Absolutely. He can in the beginning start from when he is hungry. Does he want to order for the whole family? Does he want to order only for himself? Great point, Ravi. Anything else?
So Archit, hi, Siddharth here. So I'm a product manager here in fintech space, but taking
Sure.
this particular example, so
Yeah.
to create a differentiation of my product, I would be just checking his order history and what exactly kind of food is selecting. Being given that he's a middle class person who is in the age group of 25 to 30,
Yeah.
let's say, and works in a middle management in some firm. Along with that, he has a very good, uh, I mean, eating habits. He wants to eat some good food,
Yeah.
but definitely he's passionate about his health also. He
Yeah.
wants to have to focus on his body. So definitely suggesting him that kind of food in my application.
So that okay, I'll make you stop there because you're jumping the solution. We are right now only looking at who's Rahul. And what is he doing? We're not even beginning to solve right now. What
Yeah,
you are
sure.
saying is
Yeah,
giving
got it.
ideas of how we can make his journey better. We are not there yet.
Okay, yeah, sure.
We are right now only expanding on what possible actions Rahul could have taken in his journey till the time he eats his food. That's all. For example, I'll give you another example. When he's waiting for the food could be late, or he gets in time. A journey could vary when the food is late, right? If you branch it out on food being late, he has to call the call center, or he has to call the person who's delivering the food. So there are more actions that the journey will take in that case. So I could also branch it out from there. That's another thing that we can do. Correct?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the more detailed we get here, the more opportunities you'll start seeing. Are you getting the drift of what I'm trying to explain here?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So now go ahead, everybody. You have 5 minutes. Write down the steps of your user. Again, Siddharth, thanks for bringing that question up, because that's what we don't have to do in this workout right now. Don't come to, you're not the business right now. Imagine that you're your user. And starting from where the journey starts till the time journey ends, what could be the steps that the user will take? Draft them out. And again, don't worry about making it beautiful. The idea is not that. Do what works for you. You can use a paper and a pen. You can use an Excel sheet. You can use slides. You can use lucid charts. Anything that works for you will work. But the idea is for you to go deeper into what possible actions your primary user could have taken till the time he gets what he or she was looking for. Are you clear with the activity that we have to do here? Any questions on that before we start working on this? No questions? Okay, great. So we are at 3:45 right now. 3:50 is when we will move to the next part of this session. It is again a very, very important step, because the more detailed you can get here, more branches you can find out on the basis of what could be the different routes that the user can take, the more clearly you will start seeing areas of opportunity. So go ahead, take the next 5 minutes and draft or design your user journey. And then we will, once you have done that, we'll work on refining it, making it better, until the time you can start finding more ideas around it. So, okay, 5 more minutes, 5 minutes to go. Yes,
Archit,
Abhinav, yes.
I need some help.
Yes, please.
So, in my case, there is an e-commerce platform that allows customer to look for the product, kind of Amazon or Flipkart,
Okay.
and a customer can buy the product, any product.
So you're a retail store online.
Yeah, online retail store.
Yeah. Okay.
And assuming Rahul is looking for a laptop.
Okay.
For himself.
Yeah.
So he can go to YouTube.
Yeah.
First to discover the product, which kind of laptop he should buy.
Very
he can Google it. He can go to Flipkart. He can go to other competitors, Amazon, Flipkart, Gadget.
Correct.
There are a number of platforms where he can go. Then there is an option of going to talk to his friends.
Very good. Yeah.
So what is after that? So we are just identifying all these steps.
Correct. So you started absolutely bang on correct, Abhinav. Those are the 4, 5, 3, 6 things that he would take at step 1. Now branch it out further. So example, when does he interact with your business? So your business will typically fall under the Amazon Flipkart bucket, right?
Okay. Yes.
Then branch it out later. So he goes to a search box, types on favorite best laptop which has XYZ features. He sees 7 products. Then he compares them basis ABC. On the basis of that, then he goes back to YouTube and sees another video for which talks about one particular feature. And then he comes back to your business again. In the meantime, he also speaks with another friend, and this friend recommends something, and then he comes back to your website. That's what a user journey would be like.
Yes.
So there will be crisscross between multiple touch points. That's what we are trying to figure out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah? You're welcome. Any other question anybody has? Okay, I'm going on mute. Please use this time to work on your user journey. And it's 3:48. I know some of you have already started working, but let's take those 5 minutes from here, which is 3:53, and then we'll move to the next part. Remember, this is the time to bring in your empathy shoes. This is when you need to really step into your customer's shoes and understand where all would he take the journey from. Anyone has any questions while you're building it? Okay, last 1 minute, start winding up, start closing your journeys. And again, don't worry about perfecting it right now. User journeys are always an ongoing process. You are never done with your user journey. So start closing it with whichever step you are at right now. All right. Any last question before I move to the next part? Is everybody done with some part of the user journey? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, the basic one is done.
Basic one is done. Great, Sneha. Okay, let's move to the next part, which is now let's look at various emotions and feelings Rahul had at each step of the journey. Again, bring in your empathy shoes and really step into Rahul's shoes to understand how he might be feeling at each step when he's hungry. For example, if you look at this step right now, you would see emotion that I've written at each step, right? For example, if you look at his when he's checking apps, he's very confused whether to order from A app or a B app or a C app. Then he has to decide what to eat and where to order from. It's a real pain. So he's very confused right now. And then in the process of figuring out where can he save more money from, he's very restless. But then when he's able to save money from the best app, he's content, he's happy. And then he places the order. But he's very restless because there's wait time and wait is really long, and then he's getting very restless and fidgety about it. And now he receives the food. So he's happy, excited. But the food was spilled. So he's very angry. And then he eats, right? So you got the drift that I'm talking about. That's what we have to do. So now at your journey, go write down feelings and emotions at each step that your user would be feeling or you would have been feeling if you were at that step. So again, this one is a quick one. So take 2 minutes and quickly write down your journey, your emotions. Everybody's clear what we have to do? Nachikeet saying, I'm still at the ideation development phase of my startup. So although I've mapped out the journey and I'll be a part of the excel, I silently leverage my learnings on the workshop. Yeah, absolutely, Nachikeet. I understand that you right now don't want to share too many details. But without even sharing details, just stay on the journey process and understand this.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so is everybody done with this step? Moving on to the next one. So if you were to identify the touch points with your business and key pain points of Rahul on the journey, for example, if you see his pain points right now on the screen, he can't decide whether to use app A or B. He's confused with so many options to pick from food and restaurants. He's comparing prices across different apps and which is time consuming. He's also unsure of the quantity of the food, for example, that he needs to eat if he's ordering for just himself. And then the food got late. And on top of that, food could be spilled when it reaches him, right? So list down all the possible pain points of a user at each step of the journey. And don't worry about writing it lesser or writing the right one. Just right now, let it flow. Write down what could be the possible pain points of your user if you were your user right now, and just list them down at each step. Take 2, 3, 4 minutes, but again, important one, because your ideation will come from here. But what could be the possible pain points of your user? Any questions on this action step? Everybody clear on what you have to do? There could be multiple pain points at one particular step also. So write those multiple pain points as well. You don't have to just write one at each step. Is everyone added? Anybody is getting stuck somewhere? All right. So now is when it gets more interesting. Okay. So if you were to make Rahul happy by solving for, say, his second problem, which is how can you make it easier for him to decide what to eat? Anyone has any ideas on what I as a business can do? Just unmute yourself and share any ideas. If I was to simplify or cater to the pain point of Rahul on making it easier for him to decide what to eat, any ideas what I can do?
Hi, it's Nachiket here.
Hi,
You could maybe give him personal recommendations based on his past orders,
yeah,
so that it's easier for him to decide which cuisine or which fast food works best for him.
absolutely. What else? Okay, now let's look at the last step. If, say, he got food which is spilled, what would really turn around his experience as a user? Any ideas there?
Maybe 50% cashback.
Okay, 50% cashback. What else? Say you got your food which was spilled. What would make you happy?
No charge.
No charge for it, okay. And for that,
Coupon
no
from
charge and claim it coupon, okay, great. But at least a call center response,
team.
which is easy. quick
Yeah,
replacement or a new order. Yeah.
maybe the guy helps to clean.
Got it. Maybe the guy can help to clean. Okay. Yeah, like an easy refund process, a simple call center response, or maybe if I see like a personal note with the food which spoke about something. So I mean, just those tiny experiences could make a difference. But you got the drift that I'm trying to say, right? There could be these pain points become your place to start ideating, and that's what we're gonna do in the next part of this. What we're going to do is generate ideas, and at this point don't worry about feasibility or even implementation or cost for that matter. None of that should matter right now. Right now, just wear your thinking hats, and for your pain points that you've just listed down in your previous step, against each of those pain points, write down as many ideas you can, and we'll take 5 minutes for this particular part. I repeat, for your pain points that you have identified for your user, if you were that if since you are that business, what new ideas can you do to change their experience, the emotion, the feeling that you saw? If you were to really alter that at that point, what do you think as an idea you as a business can do? So take those 5 minutes. We are at 4 or 5 right now. 4 or 10 is when we discuss this. And I'll repeat, don't get constrain yourself, don't converge, diverge, and generate as many ideas as you can. They can be extremely ambitious. They may not even be possible according to your right brain. But use it, write it down, and we'll talk about how to get them implemented, cluster them separately later. But then right now, just generate ideas.
Hi, Archit, I have a question here.
Yes, Aditya.
Okay, so I'm actually handling marketing for a preschool chain, and let's say if a parent is not happy because of the distance or let's say the fee,
Yeah.
I mean, how can I actually alter the experience or?
Sure. I mean, I get that you're saying I can't move my school, I can reduce my fees. What else can I do? Think
Right.
about ideas right now. We'll come to that. We'll discuss them.
Mhm.
But that's a great pain point I hear. If you were a parent right now who's not happy with the fee, but the school is also very far, what do you think will help you if you want to still stay with the same school, right? And I know one of the options could be change school, which you don't want right now. But then if you were
Right.
to stay with the same school and yet as a user wants to feel happy about it, just think about if there can be any ideas. And there may not be a feasible idea. We may get there eventually, but don't worry about that right now.
Cool.
Like could a balance between studying from home and the visiting school could be one way? I'm just thinking aloud. And I know then you would say, okay, but I want my school students to come to school also. So don't worry about that right now. So Adit, I think the point that I'm trying to make is don't think as a school. Think as a parent who is upset or is concerned. I repeat, when you're generating ideas, don't think as your business. Think about if you are that user right now who's feeling whatever you're feeling and have a pain point, what would help you ease that pain? All right, let's have one of you share. So who's willing to work with me on your user journey and go through the journey that we've just undertook for say my business right now? Any one of you wants to work along? Nobody wants to. What we'll do is we'll go through a user journey, identify what better we can do in that user journey. Come on,
So
somebody.
in my case, I have done things a bit, but the products which I have selected are kind of products which will be booked on the platform, and then later manufacturer will contact them and then
So let's discuss
and
that
run
now.
the process.
Let's start from the beginning. So if you can share your user journey, maybe what you can do is if you can click a picture, Kabir or I will ping a group here, which is a Jamboard, just update your picture there and then we will discuss that one. Yeah.
Sorry, it's handwritten and it's very ugly. Hard for me to describe.
Send it to me. It's okay. Okay, if you're not comfortable, that's fine. But if you are untidy, handwriting does not bother me. We can go through it. Anybody else who is willing to otherwise? Come on, let's discuss one person's user journey. So it's only to help you understand it better. Thanks, Kabir, for okay. Thanks for sharing this Jamboard link. Anybody who's willing to work on this with me? Nobody. Okay, then let's move to the next part of the workshop, which is doing this in a group. So what we will do is that we will divide you in a group of 3, and you will do exactly what we did. So one of you share your user journey as a business. The other 2 people act as the customer, the one that you're talking about. And what you have to do with that person is you have to help him or her understand what steps of the journey are missing, which could also unlock new ideas, like the new branches that we spoke about earlier. Then check the customer emotions and see if there are any other possible emotions that could also be at that same step if you were that customer. What are the other possible pain points and add them to the list of the first person, and any other ideas that you think in that pain point could help them ease out. Okay, and it's 4:12 right now. We'll take till 4:30. So what we'll do is divide you into groups of 3. Take 5 minutes each person. But before I do that, anybody has any questions on what you're supposed to do? See, design thinking or any user journey is not a one-person process. None of this is. It's always a team effort. And that's why having more people will bring you more clarity on what possible things that we might be missing out on, considering it's about really stepping into user shoes. And that's what we're trying to help you experience today. So any questions on the activity?
So Archit, basically we have to showcase our journey and which are the missing actions.
No, so you just have to show your journey, tell them this is what my business is, this is who my first primary customer is, and here is the journey. Let the other 2 people be those customers and help you say, here is the missing action that you missed out on your journey, which could also be possible. Here are the emotions which could also, I as a customer might be feeling in that particular step. Here is also another pain point which you haven't written right now, but is also a pain point that I would have felt had I been at that person's shoes right now. And here is one idea that could have made my pain lesser. So the other 2 people have to do that to you, and then you change, and the other person shares their journey, and then you do the same for that person. Yeah, is that clear, Sam?
Yes.
Okay, great. Anybody else any questions before we send you into your breakout rooms?
Archit, just a suggestion over here. If this could be a generic solution or any scenario that we use, because I believe we are using our own business processes, and I think that would be a confidential thing if we are even doing something.
Okay, if you're not willing to share, or if it's the confidential idea right now, just learn from each other. Don't share about your specific business. Because unless you get into specific, it's very difficult to generate ideas. Like I just shared a user journey with you and then discussed it. But in the breakout room, support the other person maybe to help them generate the ideas. And then maybe we can discuss later, Siddharth, on your user journey separately if you're willing to share. I hear that concern, and I get that there's no pressure on really sharing it, but just support each other in the journey and see. The idea is to learn the process. The idea is not anything else. So the more you will practice it, the more you will understand the journey in the process in general. Does that help?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Kabir, okay, let's disperse. And I think it's 4:15 right now. 5 minutes each would be enough for everybody. 4:30 we get back. You'll just start moving into your breakout rooms.
Yeah, we'll just do that, Archit. Some rooms will have 4 people and the others will have 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Archit, now if you click on the breakout room button,
yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see the number of people in each room and
Yeah.
see if they're speaking and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll also try and move into one of them sometime.
Yeah, so I can what we can do is, so Kumar and I can also simultaneously keep on going in different rooms to check if everyone's if they're all okay, if they're not facing a problem.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
So we can start with room number 1 and 2, and maybe you can just go to 3, 4 for the time being. However you want it.
Whichever way. I mean, I'm okay. 3, 4 I can do, and if I'm done, whoever is done, we can go to 5 or 6 then.
Perfect. Okay. Junaid is also here, Archit. He's also a QGLUE coach.
Hi, Junaid. Yes, I just got it separately.
Right. So maybe Junaid can also, do the same.
Junaid, do you want to do that for 5 and 6?
Yeah, I'll just go and see if there are any questions and stuff like
Just
that.
help them maybe define user journey better. See if we can branch out to more actions, how they are feeling, any pain points, and any new ideas. That's the basic idea of the session.
Okay. Okay, Archit.
Thank you. I'll do 3 and 4 then.
Yeah, you can jump in different rooms. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And as you keep writing, start sharing. Just unmute yourself and start sharing. If you want to use chat group, if you want to unmute yourself, I would really love to know what's beginning to open up for you. Any new idea, any new pain point that you got visibility into, which you never realized could be a pain point for your user. Any new part of the process of your user journey that you feel can unlock a new business segment or can unlock a new insight for you, which can help you improve your customer experience. Anything.
Arcchit, can I start?
Yes, please. Varinder.
Okay. So one thing that really opened up for me is that this should be a frequent exercise with our among our team members about this user journey.
Yeah.
Right? We always talk about features and everything, but we don't talk about user journey. That really opened up my eyes. And the next thing is, we should start. Me and my team members, we should start connecting with our users on one-on-one basis, like we used prior building our product when we interviewed some of them. And very surprisingly, when I was writing down the whole user journey, there were so many points where I was also confused that, okay, after this, what?
Yeah.
So yes, now I'm trying to, I'm getting that pain that why users, they just leave in between. They just don't engage on our app. Why don't they come back? Why they just do 1 or 2 or 5 rides and then they just vanish into thin air. So yeah, these are the top 3 things that really opened up for me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Balinder. Firstly, I think the first 2 points are very interesting and they typically bring me back to why design thinking is important and why it works, right? Traditionally, we think about a solution and then we think about how to fit a user into it. And what you're speaking about is how we should actually start going back to our users a lot more, make user journeys and solutions like that more common so that we can really go deeper into understanding user and let solution be driven from them. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And the third part that you actually brought out very beautifully was it's good to these kind of user journeys also help you understand why are people not coming back to my business? Where do they fall off of the entire user journey? What can I provide them more that can alter their experience of the journey? Right? That's exactly and perfectly quoted on how user journey can really help you. So thank you for sharing. Yeah. Anybody else who wants to share?
Arcchit, one of the things that I could discover through Siddharth was, we have a little bit of mindset of it is done this way and it should be done that way. But, from the way it is done today, from that itself, there are some actions that came about that maybe I should leverage that way. And that way should also become a way to direct the user towards a new way of doing things.
No, thanks for sharing. And that's exactly what it is, right? It's sometimes we feel that we know the customer so well that the solution will fit in. But the more you keep going back to your customer, the more you keep going back into their shoes, the more you will start seeing ways that you would not have seen before. And that's why I know today, just because it's a different team, you wouldn't have been so okay sharing about your businesses. But then in case if you bring this activity as an ongoing activity with your own team members, where there is nothing to hide, that's where I think you will start seeing much more impact of the work that we're doing today. So keep working on it, include more people in your work so that more things can show up for you. So thanks for sharing, Ravi. Anybody else who wants to share? Any last takers before we conclude this and move to questions? Okay, so let's do a quick summary of this. So the summary is that imperfect user journeys are also helpful. So don't worry about beautifying it. The intent is not to make it beautiful, but to make it useful. It's not a one-time activity, as Balwinder said. Keep your user journey updated, keep coming back to it to keep making it better and finding answers for it. But the interesting bit is it's not only to understand your user better, it can also be used for beyond ideation stages. For example, execution. Like if you draft a journey map as you build, would you want to use what you are building? Try and come back and find an answer in your user journey. Teamwork. Empathetic interviewing also is a very fulfilling conversation. So just try and understand and relate more empathetically with your user to understand whether your building is right or not. Or at times when you're in a conflict, draw out a quick user journey, come back to your journey and see from the eyes of your user whether how to solve for that conflict. And maybe you will see where they are coming from, right? So whenever you get stuck with a problem, should I expand into a new market? Should I unlock a new line of business? Will this new product that I'm working on work also for my user or not? Why are they not coming back on my app after the first time? Always come back to your user journey. In most cases, you will find your answers. It's a human-centered design. So challenge your biases, Ravi, as you said. Take nothing for granted and keep understanding and improving on your journeys. And through that, you'll keep understanding your users better and improving the market fit that you have between your product and your customers. And that's broadly what the intent of this today's activity was. Just 1 second. We'll come to that. Okay. So with that, thank you for taking out time, for being so generous with your participation today and your engagement, for bringing in your real self and allowing yourself to be shared about you and your businesses, and for being so committed to grow your business and help your users. Your energy was really infectious. And I hope with what we have covered today, you got an actionable way to go deeper into understanding your users and building a stepping stone, which a user journey that leads you to new business ideas and opportunities. Right. So thanks again and have a great weekend. And before that, I'll hand it back to Kabir, who has a few announcements to make. So I'll hand it over to Kabir from here.
Right. Thank you so much, Arcchit, for the wonderful webinar and the excellent workout that we did. Now, so the special announcement is that we have a program coming up, which is specifically focuses on startups, and it helps startups achieve success with the use of design thinking. Now, this is not like a 1 day or a 2 day program. We want to take startups on a journey, which will have immersive workouts, which will have activities, which will have, design thinking interventions, and most importantly, all the startups will receive personalized coaching throughout this 6-week journey. Right. Now, if you can just move to the next slide, Arcchit. Right. So to give you an overview of the journey, it will be a 6-week journey, and some important elements would be preparing stakeholder maps, personas, and empathy maps. We'll help you define the problem opportunity fit for your startup. We'll help you ideate opportunity solution fit. As we did today, we'll be mapping the customer journey, or I should say the startups would be mapping their customers' journeys to see what the pain points are and to see what all can be improved in the journey, so that and in the end it can lead to success when one talks about the product or the offering that the startup has. And the last steps of this journey would be actually going ahead and building a prototype which can be tested in the market and feedback can be taken, so that one can reach the product market fit. So this is what the journey, if you look at the right of your screen, at the right side, this is what the journey would be like. It will start with a kickoff. We will have 4 design thinking conceptual interventions, and I'm happy to say that Arcchit would be one of the coaches in this journey. And so you'll be able to do different activities. You'll be able to learn the design thinking principles and tools in these design thinking conceptual interventions. And I'd like to also specify that what we did today, this was just the empathize stage, right? And journey mapping is just one of the tools in design thinking, and there are many more which helps businesses solve their business challenges and come up with innovative solutions. So yes, as I was saying, we would have 4 design thinking conceptual interventions throughout this journey, where all the startups will come together, they'll learn in a cohort, they'll do activities. However, in the personalized coaching sessions, which would be, so these would, we would have 3 dedicated slots for personalized coaching, where each startup will come separately. They will get coached, they will get mentored by our mentors, with respect to the progress that they're making, with respect to the next steps that they should be taking and and how to actually build a prototype in order to reach that product market fit. So this is what, and of course, as the design thinking process goes, in the end there will be a pitch where each startup will sort of come and in the coaching office hour they'll come and they'll pitch their idea or their prototype that they would want to take to market. So this is what the entire journey would look like. Archit, if you could just move to the next slide.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Right. So thank you so much, guys. We will we'll be attaching a link in the chat right now. You can just quickly click on that link. It's a short form. So if you're interested and if you'd like to book your spot for this journey, which starts in the first week of February, if you'd like to book your spot, please fill that link. And I'll also be attaching my contact details in the chat box. If you alternatively you can also just give me a call or send me a mail, and that would work too.
I'll just add one line to what Kabir was speaking about. Okay, so I've seen magic happen with businesses with design thinking, and it's not because of the process, or it's not because that they were doing something different. It's because this process will help you get closer to what really is a problem statement that your customers really deal with. And from there, I've seen innovation happen such beautifully that I definitely recommend to explore it. And if you think user journey gave you an opening of action, we haven't even scratched the surface, and trust me with that. So if you're willing to go deeper into understanding your businesses, and if you're struggling with finding some answers, this could be actually the right solution, which could make a difference. So feel free to talk to Kabir about this. And if you have any question that I can help you answer, I'm willing to support as well. Thank you, everyone. Kabir, any last point that you have to make before we conclude?
Right. No, Archit. I just want to check if anyone has any questions, because we about 10 minutes to go. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask your questions.
I'm available on the call as well. If you have anything questions on this, on what we discussed, I'm happy to answer. Thanks, Neha.
So Archit,
yes, Ravi.
When your product is, say, not yet designed, how do you use this tool?
I'll say something which will answer. The best time actually to experience this journey is when your product is not designed, because that's the time when you can really understand what is the solution that's required. And I'll take you back to one of the slides that I presented. You may have an idea of problems right now. That's when you need to understand and go deeper into your user first. And design thinking helps you in coming out of a solution from your users. While what we typically do is we have a solution, and then we try and match data to it, then we try and see who's the right user, and then we take it to the market. That's what we traditionally do. But design thinking is designed specifically when you start from a user. And that's why, if that's the place you are at right now, that's the perfect place to be at anyway.
Okay. One other question: if there are multiple user personas, and also for the same user, multiple use cases or journeys, how do you, since there will be too many things to suddenly do, how do you prioritize that?
So here is how I work with, and people have different ways to go about this. I first start with having different user journeys for different user segments. Then as a step 2, I'll see if there are any overlaps. So if there are any overlaps, I'll try and merge them. And gradually, once you'll start seeing this, you will start clearing the air from it, which means you will see, okay, here is one part of the user journey which I don't care about, which is not my area of expertise and I don't want to work with. So you'll start removing them. And gradually, as you keep working on user journeys, you will be left with one which is your user journey, where you feel you have an opportunity from. So start with as many as you want and as diverse as you want. And as you keep working on your user journeys and with your users, you'll see it automatically comes closer. But to begin with, have different journeys for different user segments.
Okay. Other is the last question maybe.
Yeah.
Often, and we've seen this in the systems
Mm-hmm.
or apps or even the web systems or any enterprise systems,
Yeah.
where the system's output and suggested actions are very much useful, but the input is the pain. Take Salesforce as an example, fantastic system. You can do a lot of stuff, but if the salespeople are not willing to enter the data, everything is useless, right? Because there is no
Pain point
lead, there
of
is
the
no
customer.
opportunity. So how do what are some good examples of making users excited about entering the information, which is a very mundane process in general, right? You don't want to enter input. People feel a little painful, right? Because
It's a real pain point.
the
Why don't you ask some of the people who are actually filling the data on what would make it better a journey for them? Maybe you can start with interviewing them. See, eventually they are the ones who has to enter the data. You and I can predict and assume what could be leading to their pain point. And it is true, it's a boring, mundane job. But to ask them what is it that they really that can make it any different for them, can make it exciting for them, let's start from there. So again, the point that I'm trying to make is you and I are not the right people to answer that question. We have our own biases and our assumptions. Try and interview 10 people. Try and interview 20 people. You will see something will show up for you. And there's another practice in design thinking that you will, if you join the course, you will see it's called building an empathy map. That primarily starts from there. It says not only interview, observe them, spend time with them for a day, for a few hours, see what's getting them agitated, which part of that entire process is getting them annoyed. And when you do that for 10, 12, 20 people, empathy map will help you condense all of that information in one page. It's a beautiful tool. And it starts from interviewing and observing your users and using that interview and observation, finding insights and feelings that you have to really show something that emerging for you that could be a right potential solution, which you and I could have possibly never imagined before, but will solve the pain point of your user.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That is useful.
Thank you.
Arcchit, if I can ask one question,
Yes,
here.
Yes, please.
When you work for a new product development, right, or any product that is in the ideation stage or maybe has just been launched, right, so it becomes very easier for us to be preparing non-biased user journeys, right?
Correct.
But then generally we work in a business scenario where we have legacies and there are systems which are already in place, right? So how, even if you want to be more idealistic, there will be some biases and some pressures, right? You might understand that business cases and that. How do you keep your design thinking in that perspective when it comes to the legacy systems or the ones that are already functioning and yielding GTVs? How to convince the management and
so
such?
Because I feel that a lot, especially when you are operating inside of a already existing organization. The other challenge that I also face is time. Like in a larger corporate, or a larger organization, or even a smaller organization where you already, when you're running out beyond after time, you need to answer and find a solution as quick as possible. So I hear your concern. The point is, it's not about perfecting it. It's about, can you do it better than where you are today? And then once you reach there, can you improve it further beyond? So biases as human beings will show up. The task on us is to keep eliminating them from the way. So it's a design thinking is not, again, as I said, design thinking is a mindset, and you will gradually get there. So if you're getting stuck at right now, think about at this point in time, is there one new action that I can take differently? If I would to really think about it from a user's point of view, take that action. Then once you have reached there, ask that question again. So don't aim for that perfect idea to begin with, because these challenges that you're talking about are very real challenges. And I don't want to say that they will not come. I don't even want to say that remove your biases, because everybody can say that, but to remove those biases is not a one day, one click process, right? But the only way to go about that is just move one step at a time. Get one thing better, then get one thing better. By the end of the year, you will not even realize how much better have you become. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. I know this could not have been the most actionable answer I could have given, because there is no right way to go about that. And these challenges that you spoke about are very real challenges. But the only way that I deal with that is I just find one new thing that I can do differently if I were to really step into my user shoes and take them. And then once I'm in that place, I take another one.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Sure. And I'll also add that for me, that waiting for that perfect solution has always come in the way. So I'm learning to move one step at a time. Because if I keep waiting for that perfect solution beyond those biases, I don't even start.
Archit, if we have time, can I ask
Yes,
one
please.
question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So when we look for solution or for our user, there are multiple options that shows up. Okay, but our strategy is to keep it as simple as possible, which is not easy, I believe. So how to filter that okay, there are 4-5 options that we have for that one challenge or gap. Now how to filter down to that one or maybe 2 options that are the simplest one from a user perspective?
Fair enough. Like it's when you get into any ideation process, Balwinder, you will start seeing a lot of new ideas. And the question that you face is, whether do I start with first idea or should I start with second idea? Should I start with third idea? And then of course there's resource crunch, there's economic crunch, there are all those crunches in the place. As you go deeper into design thinking process, that's exactly what it incorporates. So once the journey, if I could take you back to the journey step, just give me 1 minute, let me pull that slide, it will help you understand that better. Kumar, can I take over the slide, or if you can go to... Okay, you have stopped presenting. I'll just quickly present my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Archit, you are on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry, it automatically muted me. I'm saying what we did today was one part of empathize. This is what the entire process is about. So if you look at defining, once you define what your real problem is, you get into ideation. Design thinking will tell you multiple ways to ideate a solution which is beyond your biases. What you're talking about is prototype and testing. There are tested ways to test and build prototypes with least minimal impact, which is primarily based on learn fast, fail fast solutions through A/B testing. So as you go deeper into the process, you will learn some of these processes on how can you identify what are the best possible solutions which are most feasible for your business. How can you test them with least impact on your business without burning your bridges, and then implement them. So before you even get to the implementation stage, of the last stage, we're right now, as I said, only scratching the surface. We are beginning to get into empathizing, but there are 4 other steps before you can implement something. And we will use some of these defined set workable processes as we get into more details into design thinking process. But in summary, start testing out with small batches is one of the ways to test it out and see what your users are saying. Talk to them. If this is what's available, build like a scrappy prototype of what you're talking about and take it to your customers, say 10 customers, and see how they are reacting. Which part of that prototype are they struggling with even then? Refine that particular part. So it's always an iterative process. It's not like a product banaya and then we are ready and then let's take it to the market. Build scrappy way solutions, keep iterating them till the time you're confident about this is what is working for my customer, and then go all out. Yeah,
Got it.
thank you. Any other questions, anyone else? For those of you who are here, can I request you to switch on your cameras for a quick minute? At least you can take a group picture maybe before all of you leave. Kabir, if you can see everybody in one frame, I can't see everybody in one frame. If you can take it, please.
You to stop sharing.
Oh, I'm sharing my screen. 1 second. Okay. I'm not, right? You can't see my screen now.
Can't see your screen. Yeah, we can see the.
Okay, guys. Yeah, if we can get a thumbs up from everyone on the count of 3. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good
Thank you.
day.
Bye.
Great weekend.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.